So I've completed setting up the pellets. So we have to do the power pellets, but we'll do that a bit later. First, let's go ahead and do the picking up of the pellets part. So in my pellet blueprint, I'm going to add an actor on begin overlap event. So actor begin overlap. And now for now, we'll just go ahead and print something. So now if I go ahead and press play, so I should be possessing the default pawn. So for the collision profile over here, I can go ahead and search collision and it says block all dynamic. So we'll go ahead and take another character. So I'll delete this. And in my game mode, which we don't have, we have the default one. So if you head into window and world settings, you'd see that the game mode override is none. So what we'll do is we'll just choose the third person game mode. And if I go ahead and hit, I should actually hit play, not simulate. So now we get our character and it is indeed blocking everything. So we can change this preset to overlap all dynamic. Alright. Now as you see, we get hello over here. So obviously this is not the character that we want. We need our Pacman character. So we'll go ahead and change that. So we'll create our own game mode anyways. So go ahead, create a new blueprint class, call it let's say BP underscore Pacman game mode. Alright, and we'll go ahead and choose that instead. And for the pawn, we are going to take our Pacman character, so BP Pacman. So we haven't set up the user input, we can do that, and we haven't set up any cameras either, so we can do that as well. So of course, we can see what to do with the cameras. So maybe we can have a top view or something, but for now, this should be fine. So for testing, I'll keep the third person game mode. So when we overlap one of these pellets, we should pick this up basically. On begin overlap, we can go ahead and we can cast it to a character. Actually, we should cast it to Pacman. But for now, we are going to cast it to the third person character. So cast to third person character. So if we are a third person character, we are just going to destroy ourselves and add 10 to the points. So that is something we can do. And the points in itself we can either store in the game mode or the game state. Since this is a single player game, doesn't really matter. Since we don't have anything in the game mode and we've already created it anyways, we can store the points here. So we can have a variable called points. Alright, so points. So you can make this an integer. Alright, and what you can do is you can go ahead and set the points. We can cast because there's only one game mode, so we can just directly cast it. So go ahead and get the game mode. Here we can cast to the BP Pacman game mode. So Pacman game mode. We can convert this to a pure cast. And once we have the Pacman game mode, we can use this and we can go ahead and set points to be points plus 10. So we can do get points plus, and this will be 10. So this will be for the normal pellets. Go ahead and set that. I hope my game mode is correct. So I'll change it to Pacman game mode and change the character to third person character. And now the points should be incrementing. I'll go ahead and check that real quick. So I'll go ahead and print it. So go ahead and print the points. So we have 20, 30, 40. Okay, so that's working. So what I need to do is basically destroy this actor right now. So destroy actor, and it's going to be self obviously. So once the points is done setting, we're going to destroy the character. So as you see, our character is able to pick this up. Obviously our Pacman character will pick it up properly, but since this character is small, it's probably missing some. So as we finish this, we should be good to go. Now we can go ahead and just delete the default characters over here. So we can put the player stats and stuff later, but we'll just go ahead and delete any and all garbage that's there in the level so that it's clean. So guys, now it's time we actually replicate the behavior of our enemies, which is the Pacman ghosts. Now we don't have any ghosts yet, we'll create them. As well as I just have a ChatGPT link over here, which I will share in the course resource section. Now this is not necessarily accurate, but for the sake of simplicity, we are going to follow this in order to replicate the behavior of each of the ghosts, and I will show you guys the best way to do it. Of course, there is no objectively best way. You can be creative about it. You can have an easier yet more, a bit less efficient solution maybe. But what we'll be doing is going to be very extendable as well. So first of all, I want you guys to create a few enumerations. Now, before we actually create that, I want you guys to know that I'm pretty sure you guys already know there are three movement modes for the Pacman ghosts. So we have the scatter, chase, and the frightened modes. Of course, you can just Google it to see when they get into that, and you can also go ahead and play a game of Pacman yourself. You will probably understand that fairly easily. But anyways, so the point to be noted is that there are four ghosts and three modes. So we have 4x3 possibilities. Now, what we have to do here is depending on which ghost we are, also depending on which mode we are in, we have to change the behavior. So what we'll do is we'll have a base class called Ghost, and we'll have derived classes for Inky, Pinky, Blinky, or Clyde. Another approach is you can just branch out the code in the Ghost class itself rather than creating multiple subclasses. But I prefer to do it the first way using subclasses. Anyways, go ahead and over here where we have the struct, you can right click, go to blueprint, enumeration, and we'll call it e underscore ghosts. You can follow any naming convention. So we have four. So we have Inky. So we'll retain the order. So we have Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. So Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. So Inky as well as Clyde. So if you guys remember the enumeration video, basically Blinky is going to be number 0, Pinky will be 1, and Inky will be 3. Basically why we are doing this instead of strings is because it's faster, and also we'll be able to do operations such as switch and stuff, and there are many advantages of using enumerations anyways. So we have ghosts, and then we also need one for movement modes. So we'll go ahead and create an enumeration, and we'll call this one e underscore, not sure what we can call this. So we can call this e behavior mode, or rather we can call it e ghost mode. Of course you can name it however you want. So go ahead and add the three modes. So we have scatter, and then we have chase, and we also have frightened. Oops, frightened. Alright. So now what we basically will do is we'll create a base class called ghosts, and we're going to inherit it. So I'll just create a folder called ghosts, and in fact we can go ahead and just create the base class here and then keep all the individual ghosts inside that. So go ahead, create a new blueprint class and call it bp underscore ghost. This is going to be of type character, so we'll call it bp underscore ghost. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and create a blueprint class here, and this time we'll inherit directly from ghost. So bp ghost, and we'll call this bp underscore pinky. So we can duplicate this, and we can call this bp underscore inky, and we can call this bp underscore Clyde, and we can call this bp and inky, pinky, and another one is going to be blinky, of course. So assuming I got the spellings correct, let's go ahead and set up the properties for this. So obviously we will need the ghost type. So ghost, so e underscore ghost is the variable name, so we can call this one ghost type, And another variable that we'll need is the current mode. Alright, so we can call this ghost mode. So this will denote whether it is in scatter, frightened, or whatever it is. Alright, so the idea here is that we will set up a few events, and basically we will override them in our derived class, events or functions or whatever, and then we can go ahead and override them in our derived class. That's basically the idea here.